Here's another example of how to structure segments of your lessons to ensure that you are also inviting rigor into your classroom. 60-minute lessons lend themselves beautifully to these three steps. First, inspire and engage right away. This is also known as the hook, which I believe is what Brad mentioned in his example. Challenge students to review a complicated skill from a previous lesson by asking them to think backwards. Since we are being encouraged to do a Zoom check in at the beginning of your lesson, use the chat feature to your advantage and repurpose it as a discussion board to discuss vocabulary or offer up a challenge question that asks them to use a skill from a previous lesson. Remember when I said earlier that engagement and rigor are synonymous in my eyes? Here's what I mean. Rigor doesn't mean more work. It also doesn't mean an additional step or hoop that a teacher has to tackle. Instead of offering up an assignment that is purely write their answers, give all the answers instead. Now the students have to write the questions that give them those answers, or ask students to read or respond to something that they must do in a flow chart. Hey, color coding is a true skill, so let your students design a bit. Overall, the hands-on step is all about not being too helpful. I had heard in a TED Talk recently that textbooks are the bane of original thought because it feeds students the steps to complete a problem. Use your gifts to guide your students down a path that lets them discover how to problem solve for themselves. And you know the drill to wrap up a lesson. Review and let the kids process. Validate what the students discovered today with your expertise and let them talk it out. I talk to myself when I'm working out a problem. So imagine how much more powerful the understanding will be if a student can talk through their learning from today. Let's think about rigorous engagement in terms of tools that we already have in our arsenal.